Hey everyone, I hope my voice is audible for all, right? Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, thank you. So today we are going to see about the lots of year 6 concepts. So yesterday we have covered about the classes. So now we're just going to explore about the what is arrow functions, what is the mapping functions, and what is the iterators that are available in arrays. And we're going to discuss that. And after that we will move on to what is the difference between let, constant, and var. So once that is completed, we will go for the next one. Or we will go for the next one. That's going to be the hoisting process. Okay, so if it is completed, we will complete all the topics today itself. So if you are in for the day two, just tell it in the comment. We just start our session. Okay, so let's go for here. So I will use the JSBin. Yesterday, if you are in, you know about what is JSBin and how it works and all. Just for teaching purpose, I'm going to use it. And meanwhile, after the basics, some concepts that I completed, I will use the Visual Studio Code to explain much more like immediate working functions and so much of things. If it is necessary, we will see it in the Visual Studio Code. So now it is fine. Okay, so we will go here and start our class. Okay, so let's start here. So what's the today's first concept we're going to see? Iterators. So it is easy one, and we can able to complete as soon. Pretty fast. So that's why I'm just going to take the iterator first of all. And once that is completed, we will go for the difference between let, var, and const. We're just going to say let this const this var. We're just going to see about that, and we're going to discuss about the process of hoisting. Okay, so we're going to see about the process of hoisting. If I made some typo mistake, then don't care about that. I usually do that. That's fine. Okay, so once that hoisting is done, we just go and see about the remaining things that's available for year 6, like template literal, object literals, and much more. We will discuss that. Okay, so before getting into the section, the procedure is going to be the same. You will receive a link for attendance for the day 2. You will receive it, and you need to fill that attendance. If you fill that attendance, you will receive a participation certificate, and also you will get featured in the LinkedIn post of our founder Navid Biswasar, and also from my side. So I will I will tag you and post it to you your certificate that you are posted it. That will be visible for your network, and it is really helpful to expand your network, right? So that's what we're going to do, and yeah, we will get started it. And if you have any doubts regarding the previous classes, you can ask me in the chat box, and also if you're going to have any doubts regarding today's class, you can ask me in the chat box. I'm open to every chats, and I will clear your doubts. Okay, so be free and ask anything that you have doubt. And before getting into the sessions, one more thing I just want to say it again. So this part is going to be the advanced to master class. Okay, so advanced to master class, we're going to see what is this and how it is working, where we can use it. So that's what we're going to see. But you actually know about how JavaScript internally working, like when we are creating a function, or when we declaring hoisting, or anything that we are doing, that you need to know about when how it's internally working. Then I highly suggest in our channel every Wednesday, tomorrow also, and the previous week also. So we are conducting a series that will be in the live for it will comes in the premium at Wednesday 8:30. Okay, so you can expect that. You can click the bell icon, you will get notified when the premium has been launched. So that series is called as Holo JavaScript. In this Holo JavaScript, we will teach about the how the engine works and everything, each and everything. When we are writing a single line of code in JavaScript, what is exactly happening in the background. So that's what we will cover. That's what we will cover the entire things. Okay, so you can get a much more understanding by seeing some visual representations of the codes, and it is taken for every Wednesday. You can surely watch it, and if you have still you have doubt, you can contact us in the WhatsApp group regarding the concepts and so much of things, and we will really help you. Or you can just take a snip and you can post it in your LinkedIn, and tag me, Navidu Biswasar, and TWD team, and we will help you in the comments or whatever the possible ways. Okay, so but you can use the social media to reach us. Okay, so instead of some doing some personal DMs, you can use that way. That is actually great. Even your network, if you don't know about that concept, they will also get expand and you will also get reach. Okay, so that's it. That's very good. Okay, so learn in public. Okay, so that's what. So let's get started. For the first concept is going to be the iterator. So what is mean by iterators? Well, iterators are used in arrays, not only in arrays. So we have it, they will use it to iterate an object in iterable items. For example, what are the iterable objects that in JavaScript are? First is array, and second is going to be an string. So these two things are iterable objects. Okay, so why we are saying this is iterable object? Well, we can able to run a particular set of action in each and every elements of this object. For example, if you are having a string, you can able to run a particular function in each and every element. If that is possible, we can able to iterate it. And for array also, we know that it is a list of items, so we can able to iterate it by using their values and everything. We can able to iterate it. Well, so that's also possible. Okay, so sounds good, right? So that is what. So basically we use loops to iterate over array. So how we will use the loops, let us go and discuss. For example, I'm just going to create const num. Here the num is going to 1 2 3 4 5 like this. Okay, so here we have a number like this, and what we need to do, I need to make a sum. Okay, which means I need to add +1 for each and every value. Okay, so that's what I need to do. Or how can I say, how we need to create a string that I need to say the value is 1, the value is 2, like that. So each and every number I want to add a string, I need to concatenate it. Let's see how we can able to do it in technically normal words. How we can do this? We use the for loop, and we will declare let I equal to 0. And I hope you will all know about the for loops and how it is works. And if you don't know that, I highly recommend watch the beginner level JavaScript. That is important. Okay, so I'm creating a loop. That loop is going to iterate over these items inside an array. Okay, so that's what I just doing. And here I just say I plus plus, and here I just going to say in the console, if the loop runs in the console, you need to display this one. What is that? The value is like this, and here I just going to like this, and here I just going to say what is the value. It is going to be 1. So how we can fetch it? We call the number and we will give the square bracket, and instead of giving the default indexes, we can make it as I, because the I value is going to be increase every time. So the index is automatically increase when the loop runs. So that's what we are going to give an I. That's it. If we run it, we will get the value is 1, the value is 2, the value is 3, 4, and 5. Well, that's good. So this is actually called as iteration. So the things that is going to use is loops, right? So loops can be used for much more things also. Without in not only in arrays, we can able to use arrays. We can able to use the loops for literally everything. Whatever we want to use, we can use it, right? For particularly iterating over to for doing this iteration process in array, we have some of the methods. So they are called as array iterators, and that's or we have actually 4 things. One is for each. So the for each is actually not introduced in ES6. It is the future that is already in ES5 itself. But due to the ES6 has more advanced, and they are come up with a much more iterators, they will combine this for each also much useful. You can take it in the ES6 concept. Okay, so that's what the for each is also here, but it is introduced before 2015. Okay, well, fine. So we have the for each, and the next we have the map, and finally we have, once the map is done, and finally what we have the filter, and then we have the reduce. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Well, so let's see how we can achieve the same process with the help of for each. Okay, let's see how we can do it. The for each method is exactly the same like how the for loop is work, but the syntax is much more smaller, and the errors that we are going to face when compared to for and for each. The for each is much more simpler syntax and easy to use. We don't come up with some of the complex semicolons and numbers dot length, like that, the condition, starting point, ending point, increment. We don't come up with those ideas and parameters. So actually it is a good way to avoid errors, right? So that is why the traditional for loop, try to avoid it if you can replace it. Okay, so in some cases we actually need it, the traditional for loop, then in that time we actually use the for loop. That's irreplaceable, right? So for working with array, it's literally good. You can go with for each. Okay, let's see how we can achieve the same value, same output when we work with for each. Simply call the number num dot this. I just want to tell the syntax. Just you need to call the array and you need to give a dot, and you need to use this for each method, and this for each is going to have an callback function. So inside this callback function we need to tell what we need to execute. Okay, it is what we need to execute, we will tell it here. And here it takes three parameters. One is going to be the value of an array, and second one is going to be the index of which value it is taken, those index of an array it is going to take. And finally the third one is going to be the array, it is going to represent the entire array. Okay, like that it will see. So let me see, we will replace this array with num. Okay, so for each, and this is a function, and this function how it is going to work means, we don't want to tell where to start and where to end, like let I is equal to 0, I plus plus. No, we don't want to tell that. So the when I use this for each, it takes literally take this function and it is go and work on first as its value, and automatically go for the second, automatically go for third, fourth and fifth. Once everything is completed, it automatically stops. So we actually don't worry about that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say in the console dot log, and here just going to say all the things. So now what I going to return, first is going to be the value. So the value is going to be 1, and second the index. The index of the 1 is 0. So we will get value 1 comma index comma, and what is the array? Well, the array is going to be this entire array. So we will get it. So once that is done, then we will move on to second. So the value is second and the index is going to be 1, and we will get this entire array. So likewise we will get it. So what I'm going to do, I just going to add a BR statement in front of it. Okay, to separate each and everything. So I just add a BR break statement. But we don't actually want here because it is going to print line by line. Okay, like this. Let's see what's happened. I just comment and run it. You can able to see first value is 1 and the index is going to be 0 and the array is going to be the entire array. Well, the loop runs. Now it's go for the second value. So the second value is going to be 2, 1 and the entire array. Value 3, 2 and the entire array. 4, 5 and the entire array, and it will stops it. So if I want to achieve these things, then what I can do, simply copy this. We don't want the index and we don't want the array because we only want the value. So we can remove here also. Simply how we can say, we can paste it here. Instead of num dot I and all, we can simply say the value is the value that I'm getting from this for each. So if I clear and if I run it, you will get the value is 1, the value is 2, value is 3, value is 4 and value is 5. So that's how it will be work. Okay, so simple. Yeah, so if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the chat box. If you're literally having any doubts means, okay, so in between the things. Okay, fine. So this is how it works. So it is much more easier when compared to for loop, right? So we can use it. But what is the demerits? Like I cannot say demerits. What is the something that is not here? Something is missing here. So what is that means? This for each itself does not return anything. So we can able to see a function inside it, right? So this function, it does not return anything, which means what I'm saying, if you are creating a function and it is in a value and it is going to, if it is in a variable, if you call the function, then if it returns something, the value should store in that variable, right? Let us say, for example, I create let a equal to, if I create a function and here I just say return hello. This is going to be a string like this. So if we evoke the a function, what we will get? We will get this hello, right? Right? What we will get? We need to return here I just log it with the console.log like this. And if I run it, you can see we will receive this hello, right? But here in for each loop, it does not work like that. For example, if I just remove the console and I say return, and here I just remove here, and if I use const a equal to like this, and I just remove this let function. So now we can expect, okay, so it is a function, and basically it is going to return whatever the value that is returned, it is going to be stored in the a. So when I ask for the a variable, what is going to happen, it is going to return me the value of it, right? So like an array, it is working in array, so it is want to return a new array, right? So we can expect like this, but it will not work like this. It will return undefined. The reason is the for each method does not return anything. Okay, so the for each method does not, okay, so the for each method does not returns anything. Okay, so because of that, what we need to do, if I want to return, I'm working in an array, so the result, whatever the result I'm getting, I need to store it in another array. So for that, what I need to do, well, you need to use the array methods to work on that. For example, if I want to catch all the values and I store in a newer array, what we need to do means, well, you need to create an array. Outside it, it's like const a equal to, or we can say const result. Okay, it is going to be an empty array, and now instead of return, because the return keyword is useless here, right? So whatever we are doing, it does not going to return anywhere and to whom it's calling, so it is not useful here. So what we can do, whatever the value I'm getting, I need to push this value to this result array. So how can I say, I just say result dot push, and here you can put it here, just cut the value, and I just going to paste it here. And if I save it, and if I clear, if I run it, a is not defined. Yes, we changed that to result. So I just copy the result and I just change it to result. Okay, and if I clear and if I run it, you can able to see the value 1, value 2, it creates a newer array, right? So you may think like, okay, so this is good, even though it is not returning, that is good, right? But it is not actually good in all the scenarios. So we have a concept called pure function. So what is meant by pure function means a function, we need to avoid the case when a function is affecting the outer world. For example, you can able to see this is a function, but it is affecting, it is changing something in the outer world, which means the variable it is in outer of the function. So it is changing, right? So I cannot simply say put the variable inside and return the variable result. It's not going to do that. Okay, so that's right. So that is what this for each method, we cannot work with the pure function concepts and all. So that is actually not a problem. You can write a code without pure functions also, but it is good to have some methods that is actually working with an array. If I work with an array, then the method is actually returns in another array, right? So that is how the other method is here, that is map. So literally what for each method is doing, all the things the map method is also doing. So the only one thing for each is not have is it does not return anything, right? But the map method, it itself returns a newer array. Okay, so it works on the array and it also creates a newer array and stores all the result inside it. Let's see how it is working. Simply, instead of for each, now you can see if I give some value here, it is provide me undefined, right? So instead of this for each, I use the map method, and here I just comment off here and I just say const result equal to like this. And now you can see we have created a const and we have added this, and instead of this result dot push and so much of thing, we can simply ask for return. So when I use the return keyword in for each, it's not going to work and nothing is done, right? It's obviously it's not anything has been done because it does not return anything. If I want to achieve, then I want to tell implicitly, then I want to tell you need to do this like that, right? So, but here the result, the map method, what it will achieve means it itself creates a newer array. For example, here I just simply remove everything, nothing. I just simply use the map method and return. What's going to happen? You're going to see nothing here, which means undefined, right? So what's going to happen? How many times the loop is going to run? The loop is going to run how many elements are in the array. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So 5 times the loop is going to run. So for the 5 times an undefined value is created, that value is going to store inside this result in the form of a newer array. a fresh array. Okay, so this is the source array and this is the result array. Okay, let's see how it is working. Simply like this, you can see undefined, undefined, undefined. Why? Because the map method, it itself returns a value. If I remove this and if I use for each here, now what's going to do, it is also going to return me an undefined, but not the way with an array of undefined. It is going to simply return undefined. What is the difference between them? Well, undefined means here it is simply saying what the function is returning entirely undefined. But here the function is executed and each and every function is executed with the value. When I say like this, now print the value of it. Now if I run this code with for each, still it's an undefined because the function is not returning anything. It's not going to be do this. But if I do the same thing with map, now what's going to do? So the map method, it itself creates a newer array that is going to be, we are getting it in the array, newer array, we are getting it in the variable, and each and every time it is going to run, that value is get added to that array. Okay, so that's what it's going to do. Let us run. You can see the value is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. So it is much more simpler than for each, right? So we can, and also you can able to see the pure function concept. This map method is not affecting anything outside the function. It is only affecting this one, right? So which belongs to it. It does not affecting something outside of the function scope, right? It is not doing that. So it is much more great to use a map method over to for each method. This is also when you need to use it. You need to understand where you need to use. For example, with the help of an array, you want to create a newer array, then you can use map method. With the help of the array, you don't want to create an resultant array and all, you need to just add something, run something, then you can go for each. That's absolutely good. You don't want to store that array, you don't want to store the resultant array, then you simply avoid that. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so let us move on for the next thing, that is going to be the filter. So what is going to be the filter method? For example, instead of map, if I use the filter method, so what is going to be the filter is going to do, instead of running and instead of simply whatever it is returning, it is going to look for a boolean value. If it is true, then only it is added to the result. If it is false, then it's not added to the result. For example, if I simply exit this and if I ask the value is greater than 12, okay, value is greater than 12. So then what's going to happen, if I use filter, so it is going to return a boolean, right? For example, 12 is not, it just say 3. Now let us go for 1 is smaller than 3, so it is false. So if it is false, those values are ignored. It not add up to this result. Okay, that's what is going to happen. And when I say 3, till 3 it is going to ignore. When 4, it is true, so it is added. When 5, it is 4, it is added. You can able to notice if I run the filter, you can see we will get those values 4 and 5. But in same case, if I use the map method, so filter is check for the condition. If the condition is true, then those values are get added up to it. But map method, it does not look for a condition. It just look for the result. If the whatever the result is coming, it will be added to. For example, here what is the result? Value is greater than 3. 1 is greater than 3, false. So the false is added to it. Okay, it is going to create a boolean like false, 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 true, true, like that. But filter method look for the condition. If it is true, like if and else. If it is true, then I will add up you. If I don't, and you are not add up to my new array. That's what it is going to do. If I run, you can see false, 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 true, true. So the map method does not look for any condition. It will simply run whatever the code that you need to run, it will be run it. So the filter method, where in real world we are using, you can simply know, like if you are go for some e-commerce call and you are selecting some of the checkbox, right? So what is the checkboxes like categories? If you go for the categories and you want only stationery items or pens or toys or something like gaming, laptops, so you are clicking boxes. So in that time, what we can do in category, which all are matches with this, particularly the user selected category, it's matching, then you need to render all the objects. So that is why you are getting related items. So we are filtering out, we are adding to a new array and we are displaying it here. Okay, so in that time it's really helpful. You can use it like simply the name itself, filtering itself. That's what it is going to do. Right, so now what we're going to do, so this is all about filter, the final one. And also it is something that associated with the data structures, like the compose function, we can able to use it. Cool, thank you. Okay, so that's what we can do. And third, last one is going to be the reduce function. So the reduce function is pretty useful when you want to sum up an array. For example, you have an array and you need to sum up like the first value, and you need to add the second value, add the third value, not only adding, but you need to group together into a single value. Now, if you use minus, if you use multiplication, whatever, you can add it, but it will runs in a way I think if you know a little bit about the algorithms, you will come up with some of the algorithms. It is also one of the algorithms. I don't want to confuse those things and all. So simply, it will take the first value and it will take the second value and just add it up. So whatever the result that you are giving, it just combined together to a single value. And then that value is go for the next value, like that it will go. Let me see the result, then we will understand. For example, we have this num, right? So I just simply say num dot reduce. Okay, so it is also exactly how the syntax is going to be same. Map, filter, and reduce. Both are ES6 and it is going to be same. It is going to result something. I just say result. Okay, so here I just going to say num dot reduce. Okay, so here instead of this function, it's not going to, I just write a function first of all. So this function, it does not have three parameters, only the values, items, and indexes, only the values, indexes, and what the final one is going to be the array. Instead of that, it is going to handle four things. Okay, it is going to have four things. So simply we will name it as accumulator, cumulator, and index and index and array. So you know about what is index and array, right? So the value, that particular value index, that is going to be index and array. So what is going to be accumulator and what is going to be cumulator? Well, accumulator is the starting point. So if you want to add something, it is going to be the starting point. Cumulator is the initial point. For example, this is the cumulator, like value. So how the value, it takes the first value, right? So likewise, it is the current, it determines the current position of an element. And accumulator is once the values get summed up, what is the value that is going to be here. For example, I will tell here, I just say return ACC plus CUM. So initially the accumulator value is 0. So now the accumulator value is 0. Now what happened? The cumulative value is 1. So 0 plus 1 is going to be 1. And what happened? Now the accumulator value becomes 1. Okay, it sums up and the value of accumulator is get added. So now it is 1 and the accumulator value is going to be 2 and 1 plus 2, 3. Now the accumulator value is 3. Okay, so you can able to understand what I'm saying, right? So accumulator value is going to be 3 and it is going to be increased in like that way. For example, here top above here we can write the console.log and we can ask for accumulator and then cumulator. Okay, we will ask for accumulator. So just after accumulator, you will simply know that. So I just run this code in the console. Console.log, and if I say result, if I clear and if I run it, you can able to see here we are actually getting this one. We remove this one. Okay. If I run it, the value of all the value is going to be 15. Let me count it 1, 3, 9, 6, 10, 15. Yes, it's obviously it's correct, 15. Fine. So now we will run this one. Okay, so the 15 is going to be the last value. I don't want, we will keep that value. Let us see what is the accumulator, how the accumulator value is increasing. So initially the accumulator value is going to be the 1. Okay, so it is taking the value of 1 once it is run. Then what happened? The 1 is get added up with this 2 and the accumulator values get increases to 3. Now what happened? The accumulator value is added up with the 4 and it is increased, it is added with 3, it is increased to 6 and 4, 10, like that it will keeps on increasing. Final accumulator is going to be the 15, that values get resulted, right? So that's what it's sent at here. So now what I'm going to do, here you can decide what is the accumulator value. For example, if I decide the accumulator value is equal to 0, okay, so like this, and if I run it, you can see it's going to be the same. If I say the accumulator value is equal to 1, now what's going to happen? The value is going to be starts with 1. So now accumulator value is 1 plus come, which means 1 plus 1. So initially 2. So likewise the value is going to be increases by something. So if I say accumulator value is 100, so the value is 100 and the value 1 is get added. sorry, the values 1 is get added, so 101, and it is go and keeps on increasing, so we will receive 115 like this. Okay, so basically the reduce method is used to group together all your array values into a single value that you can able to achieve. Okay, so if you are using addition, it will do addition. If you are doing multiplication, it will do multiplication, and it is really helpful in case how where we can use it. You may think about, right? So let us imagine you are in an e-commerce sites or any other sites. The e-commerce is a great example. What example you are in an e-commerce site and you are selected products from multiple categories. For example, toys. You selected a toy, the toys, the rate is around 500, and another toy rate is 600, and another something other than, like for example, if you have an gaming PC that is 60,000 and 1 lakh or something like that, anything like you have created. Now what happened, you are in this cart page, right? So you are in this cart page, all of your value, right? So in total you can able to see the total value is around 2 lakh 17 like that. Okay, so 2 lakh 17,000. So will you like to check it? So they will tell that whatever the product from different category grouped together and their values are added up and they will display here. So if I want to purchase everything, then I just want to pay the 2 lakh 17 rupees, then I will get it, right? So just imagine if I want to add all the arrays, right? So just want to, whatever the arrays that are listed here, I just want to take the price and I want to add each and every price and I just want to add it here. Okay, so initially, for example, if you have some dues, you just purchased something but you are not paying something, so you have minus 40 rupees. Then what happened, that is also get added up, right? So like plus 40 rupees already there, that is also in your accumulation. So you can able to see that is comes, the accumulation starts from 40. Or you have some coupon codes, that coupon codes, let us consider you have a coupon code of 1000. Okay, so the 1000 is what's going to be, that is going to be already just get added. So whatever the value that you are having, you just remove it, right? Once it is done, you can what you can do, you can remove the value from the accumulation point, you can remove it. And if you want to add everything, you can add it and you can sum up it. So like so much of use cases, wherever you want you can use it. Okay, so really powerful and simpler methods. These methods are nothing but they are functions. So like how we are creating our own function, like that the people of contributors, so JavaScript developers who contribute to JavaScript, they are thinking, okay, so these methods are frequently used, so it is really helpful. We don't want to create everything from scratch, so it is our frequently used. Why should not you add it to the JavaScript prototype? So they made a proposal and they will created it and they will just send it to that. This is JavaScript who's managed the JavaScript community, who is managing that. They will accept it and they will add it to it. So that is why each and every programming language is getting increased. Like you just imagine the two string, two uppercase, lowercase. We can able to do it the each and every value to uppercase, lowercase with the help of loops and so much of things, right? We can able to achieve it. But the thing is, for spending, instead of spending time for like that, if I going to use that frequently, then we can add it to the official JavaScript prototype. Then whenever we want, we can able to take it. So that's what exactly yesterday we have seen, how to add something in a prototype, right? So it will be there itself. Whenever we want, we can use it. The prototype we are creating, it is used by only for us, and the prototype that is created by JavaScript, and it is accessible. If you are creating a prototype and you are making a proposal for JavaScript open source, then it is accepted. Those your method also, it's going to be there in the JavaScript programming language. So if it is a programming language, it is not built by a single person. So it is built by a single person, but it is developed by a community. Okay, like us, like jQuery and React and Facebook community. So everyone can contribute, everyone can able to do that. The only thing is what if they are accepting or not. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so the attendance, second day of attendance form has been shared in the chat box, and if you like to fill, you can fill it, and if you are a regular for this, you will receive a certificate and a LinkedIn notification. Okay, that's it. So this is all about iterators. So now we are going to the next concept, the difference between let, const, and var. Okay, so what is the difference between let, const, and var? So technically speaking, there is actually two differences here. One is going to be the scope. Depends upon the scope. They are different. They are different scopes. They have different scopes and they perform differently in each and every scope. Okay, so we can consider a difference with the scope, and also we can have and like how the memory allocation is happening whenever you are using this let keyword, var keyword, and const keyword. That is very important. So another important concept that is going to be the hoisting concept. So as I already mentioned, that if you are really interested in learning the internals of the much more advanced, I don't want to tell everyone want to learn the internals of JavaScript. If you already know about some advanced and some of the concepts that we are teaching now, then you are really interested in how some of the advanced things are happening in the bank, then have a look into the premium that's will be displayed tomorrow at 8:30. Okay, you will get notified. You just give a like and subscribe, and just click the bell icon. You will get notification whenever the series we are conducting a holo JavaScript series. You will get notified. Okay, fine. Let us go for scope, and we will see this hoisting process bit later. Okay, once we complete it today, then we will see at the end. So what is going to be the difference between let, this, const, this, var? Well, they are all keywords. They are all keywords. What is mean by keywords? They are reserved words that are in JavaScript. It is like an identifier. If I use var, let, and const, the browser will identify. Okay, so you want to create a variable, I will creating a container for you. Then you are giving the name for that container, and what is the value that you need to store inside the container, everything you are declaring. So JavaScript need to identify what I need to do. We need to speak with the browser need to understand, right? So the syntax, so they are keywords or reserved words. They are only meant for what they are built for. We cannot use it simply for our purpose. We cannot change the purpose of the keywords and all. Okay, it is only built for what they meant for. Okay, well, fine. So now what's going to happen? We just going to have the var keyword, let keyword, and const keyword. So first, let's speak with the scope. There are actually three scopes are here. One is going to be global scope. Okay. So another one is going to be the functional or local scope. We can tell like this, and we have the block level scope. Have the block level scope. Okay, so actually three scope is there. Let us understand what all are they. So when a variable is declared outside a function, for example, like this, let a equal to 10. So it is declared outside, and it will be available in the entire document. So this is going to be global scope. Okay, why it is called as global scope means reason we can access this variable wherever we are. That is not a matter. We can able to access it in the entire document. For example, I'm creating a function, and that function is going to be the name of b. And if I want to access the variable a, you can able to access it. For example, if I say console.log a, and if I call b function to execute, you can able to see we can able to access it. Like this, we can able to access it. So, and also if you are creating something like if class, for example, if and here if I say true, by default it is going to be true, and here I just ask for console.log. If I ask for a, now if I clear and if I run it, you can see this is from function and this is from the conditional statements, right? So I'm curly braces inside somewhere, consider like that, inside a function, and outside, if you can able to access it is outside also. If I say simply called console.log a outside, we know that we can able to simply access it, right? Like this. And clear, if I run it, you can able to see it will be accessible. It has no limits. Let us consider it is like an some public box, so everyone can go and everyone can use that. Okay, so that's what. Okay, so you can spend times in box, and that is publicly available, everyone can use it. Okay, so that's what. Okay, so that is what the global scope it is. So it will be accessible entirely. Okay, fine. So now when the same variable when the same variable is declared, if I remove the, if I just instead of declaring the variable in here, I just declare a variable here. It means inside a function. Okay, I just cut off here and I ask for. You can see first we are asking for, we are accessing the variable outside. So here I just going to say comma. This is going to be outside. Okay, so here we will say comma inside function, inside function, and here we will say comma block. We can say inside if. I just simply say inside if to understand which one producing which result. You can able to see if I run it, first you will get an error. what is saying A is not defined. Let's see what happened. You can able to see the function is created and I'm trying to access it outside the scope, right? So that is why it is throwing error. For example, if I cut this, just paste here, I just cut the line and put below it, below the B function. Now, what happened? Once the engine reads it, the first it is going to execute the B function, and the B function, if the function is executed, this console is going to print, right? So if I clear and if I run it, you can see we get the 10 and we are getting inside. Okay, we are get 10 inside, which means this one is printing. JS when it will print in below right, that it will do. Okay, so only here we are getting the error. So what is mean by that? So if a variable is declared inside a function, then it is called as local scope. So what I say for global scope, it's like and something the public internet cafe, or the government internet cafe, or the public box, or anything where everyone can go and get benefit of it. We can able to do it. When I say function, let us say it is a private space. For example, your home, right? So only inside your home can able to access whatever the things that you are inside your home, right? For example, inside your home you have a 10,000 rupees, let us consider like that, and the person who belongs to that family can able to take it, they have access to it. But I'm a person who's from outside, I'm trying to access it, then that is illegal, right? So right, same like that. So the same like that here, if a variable is declared inside a function, then it is accessible only inside the function itself. We cannot access it from anywhere from outside. Okay, let us see. That is why when I evoke the B, this call is evoked. So these, they are belongs to the same space, so that they are, we can able to access it. You can see inside is working. But when I say outside, I'm an outsider. So someone, right? So I cannot access, I cannot get this. So I just remove it. Let's see what happened if another, for example, let us consider this if class as your neighborhood person. Okay. So he tried to access, that is also illegal, right? So we will get the error for him also. You can see A is not defined. So we cannot access it. So that is called as local scope. So it is a private space only inside the variable where it is, and who are the belongs to that space can able to access it. Outside members cannot access it. Okay, same like that for if also. You can able to see something like this curly braces, right? So not only if class, like loops and anything. Okay, so if it is wrapped with this curly braces, then that is called as block levels. They are inside a block, right? So usually we call it for a function. So we, the function, what the definition, it will execute a block of code. So where the block of code will be there inside this curly braces, right? Same exactly here, it is called as block level scope. So it is also a scope, that is the last scope. We have the block level scope. So the same exactly how the function behaves, it is also going to behave the same. For example, if it is in block level, then it makes sense, right? So some purpose, I am giving the variable in block level, which means I need to access the variable only inside the block, right? I don't want to access outside. Let us see, we will try it. So if I just come out of this one, and I just say here, let A equal to 10. Okay, and I just want to here console.log A like this. And if I do this, you can able to see this is possible. The person inside the block level can able to access it. We can able to access it, but the outside block we cannot access it. Okay, so we cannot access it. You can able to see it's throw me an error, right? So that is going to be block level. It makes sense. If it is inside the function, then inside the whatever it is inside, it can accessible. We cannot access outside. If it is inside a block level, whatever it is inside, we can able to access it. We cannot access it outside. But if it is in global level, it is public, like a road where everyone can use it, right? So, but if it is function, that is like your private lawn, only the people you from your home can use it. Okay, so the block level is also like the private lawn, only you can able to access it. But what is the problem here? It is when we are working with var, it does not have the block level scope. For example, instead of let, if I use var, then if I try to access the variable outside, you can able to see without throwing any error, we can able to access it. For example, here for differentiate it, I just mention it as outside. I clear and I run it, you can see it is working, but it is not works in let and const. Let run, it will throw me an error, reference error. A is not defined. You cannot access it. So and same like that. What we can say, if I use the const vector and I run it, you cannot access it. But if you use var, it will be accessible outside. So that is the only difference. All other things are same. If you are creating a var, but if you are creating a var inside a function, the scope is only inside the function only. If it is declare a var keyword with outside a function, the scope is global scope. But if you declare a var keyword inside a block level scope, the var keyword does not have the scolding some variables inside the block level. So it is like making a gate for someone to access. So it will consider the block level scope as a global scope also. Like you can able to, if you are declaring a keyword with var keyword and you're declaring a variable, we can able to access that variable everywhere in the entire document. So let us imagine, for purposely I just want to access the keyword inside this if class. That is why I'm telling, I just giving those variable inside the curly braces, right? So but with the help by using var, what is happening, it is considering it as something, right? So what is going to happen if someone access it? For example, if someone simply access it, we can simply say like this. Here outside a, it's going to be 7, like this. So now what happened, the value of a is changed outside. And also when we are working with var, when we are declaring it, it will be possible. Sure, can you give certificate? Yes, of course, you will receive a certificate if you completed all the 5 days of advanced JavaScript course from Monday to Friday. Okay, 1 hour, the same time. If you completed, you will receive a certificate, and also we will post your certificate in our LinkedIn post also. You can see there also. We will tag you and we will mention you. Okay, so that's also, we will get a reach. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, so this is the only difference between the scopes of let and var. So it is always good to go with let and const compared to var. So in some cases we need var actually. So is it first classes? No, first classes is already done yesterday, Monday. So if you don't watch the first classes, the recordings is still available. I think the live chat is also available. You can see the entire recording, and during the live chat, you can able to see the certificate link. You can fill the certificate link elsewhere. So if you are not found the certificate link, then make just a note from the WhatsApp group. We will do that and fill all the remaining 4 certificate without fail. You will get notified. Okay, so if you are if you will get the certificate also. Okay, yeah, but make sure you need to watch the first class also. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, fine. What we have left, yeah, this is var, or this is the difference between var, let and const. Okay, so this is all about the difference between the scoping. Okay, so then now the next we will see about something. So what is that means, we have another 10 minutes. Why don't want we don't want to waste it? So that is going to be template literals. We go with template literals, an easy topic we can cover. So tomorrow we will see about the hoisting and immediate working functions, so on. So template literals. So what is mean by template literals means, say template, don't care about the typo. Template literals is a new way of accessing an variable from outside, like in olden days how we will access it simply. For example, I have const a is equal to like this now. Okay, and something like this. Okay, so if I want to create a sentence, how we will create it? So or simply, what if I want to give a example first, this is going to be the first name, and this is going, we can mention this is going to be our first name, and here we can mention it as const, this is going to be the last name, and here we will just mention the last name of the person. So if I want to concatenate something and I need to create a sentence, how we will do this? If I say const detail, I just want to write like this, the name of the employee is, and if I want to use this, and the first name, I just want to mention first name, and like this. And again, what I want to do, I just want to, for giving a space, I just want to use this and give a space, and like this. And here I just want to start that, like the last name, I just want to include last, I just want to include the last name of the person, last name. So it is pretty straightforward and very small explanations only. Let us imagine when you are working with something APIs and so on things. Second class. Yeah, totally 4 days. Then you probably don't get the class tomorrow. Okay, fine. Okay, so yeah. So the name of the employee is first name and second name. So likewise, we will attend. So this is pretty straightforward and easy things, right? So but just think about when we are working with APIs. So when we are working with API, we will work with some of the big objects and all. Okay, I just show you the format JSON. Okay, so this is a format we mostly work with that. Okay, so how it is look means I just show the image. You can able to see it is exactly look like an array nested object, like something like this. You can able to see an array object, and only you can able to see in key also they are stringed, right? So that is we will change it. That is actually JSON format. We will change it to a JavaScript object. Okay, so we want to access this first name, last name, phone number, and email, and I want to create a sentence. Then if I use this one, well, we can use it and we can create it. That is no fine, no problem with that. But pretty hectic. Even we need to care about so much of things, and also it is not that much feasible. So that's why we actually have the template results. That is more, that has so more advantage compared to this. Why I'm saying this means when we are using the string, it is stopped with the one line. So for every line we need to create something and we need to come up with here. The template literals are more very easy, and we can able to flexibly we can able to use it whenever we're working with the dump operations and something and all. Also we can able to use it. So simply, for example, how we can able to form it. First of all, I just use the console.log and see the detail like this, and how it is looking in the console. And able to see the name of the employee is Hari Prasad. So this is what we are achieving. So how the template literal will work means I just say const detail one. Simply for using template literal, you need to use the backticks. You can able to find the backticks in top of the tab icon, tab keyword. So you can able to find it. Just click the backticks and you need to type, like it is also a string only. So whatever you're writing, it is a string only. Simply instead of using that, you can write like this: the name of the employee is, and if you want to access a variable, just simply call dollar and this curly braces and simply say the first name. And if you want to give a space, you don't want to create a plus and you don't want to give so much of things, just give a space here. And if you want to add, and just simply go like this, last name, just give a space here and you can add it. So it is also going to do the exactly same thing what this is going to did. For example, I just copy and I just paste it here. Instead of detail, I just go for detail one. I just comment of this one, run it. You can able to see the employer is Hari Prasad and much more easily creatable, right? And if I want to create and tag, you can able to come up with easily. So how we can able to come up with easily? For example, simply I just want to wrap it with an h1 tag like this. Okay, so in console the h1 tag will not work, but let us understand. We want to add with this, so it is absolutely fine. We can able to see the h1 tag. I think the h1 tag will be displayed here. But whenever you are working in the output, what's going to happen, that it will display the value in the headings. Okay, so it will exactly do the things. Okay, so that's what it will do simply. But you can able to add these things, and if you want to go for the next line, just simply like this, just go for here, and whatever the paragraph you want to write a paragraph, you can add it. And whatever the place that you want to replace it with variable, just use this dollar sign and this curly braces to get, okay, to get the to access the variable, something that is outside available. And make sure that while you are accessing those variable, it should be, you need to take care about the scopes, because the scope is inside a function. You cannot access the variable from in another function. Okay, so that is not possible. So if it is in global scope, you can able to access it anywhere. But remember, again, the yesterday we have been discussed about how dangerous global scope is. Not danger, but you need to something whenever we are declaring more number of global scope, we need to be much more careful in that. So because of this memories, okay, so you are creating more number of global scopes. The automatic garbage clean that's done in JavaScript, they never touch the global scope. It will going to be permanently in your document file. Okay, so in for that purposes, they are permanent, even though they are going to be used one or time, two times, one times, they are going to be permanent in your entire application. That is not that good, right? So it is occupy your space and no one can enter into that space, and basically that is not that much good. Okay, so that is what, so you need to think about that, and where you want to use this template literal, you will use it. Mostly you will use this template literal for accessing yeah, accessing mm, the DOM properties, APIs, and some other things, like whatever you're accessing inside of functions, so much of things you will use it. Okay, you can use it. Okay, so still we have some little bit 3 to 4, I think 4 minutes in there. We will see another concept also, that is going to be ternary operator. So what is meant by ternary operator is, this is also an ES6 concept. This is a small concept, it is introduced. For example, we know the if else, right? So we have if statement and we have else statement. If something is true, and this code will be executed, right? Console.log hi. And if something is false, console.log hello, like this. And right now it is true, it is going to give me hi, right? So if it is making this one as false, we will give the comparison, but I directly am giving the value, whatever the condition you need to give, you can give it. Okay, so it is going to be hello, right? So we have a much more simpler version of it, because working with if class is not that much feasible for one line code. When you want to implement, when you are working with you're going to learn React, if you learn the React, then you will come up with the one liner code for each and every component. So it will be really helpful. In that time you use the ternary operator. So what is ternary operator means? Simply check for the condition. If the condition is true, just you need to use this question mark. If the condition is true, then this part of the code is going to execute. This part of the code is going to execute. If it is false, then this part of the code will be executed. So if value is true, then it is executed, and if it is value is false, this is going to be executed. So how can I say? For example, let us consider const valid equal to true. So if the user is valid, then what I need to do, I just want to tell, let us say we are sharing dashboard page like this. Okay, so here instead of console.log, let us say you are rendering the dashboard page. So let us say welcome to home page. Okay, so if the user is invalid, the value, if we entering some credential that is false, if this is invalid, then what I need to redirect, I just want to redirect to sign up page, sign up page. So now what we can do, let us see. If I run this code, you can able to see welcome to home. I just remove this one. Okay, so you can able to see welcome to home because the user is valid. So if the user enters some invalid output, so the function making return some boolean value as false. Now what's going to happen? So here we can replace this with valid like this. So now what we can happen, we can render some invalid sign up page. So this is, and like simply if the status code is success, then you need to access the entire home page. If the status code is other than success, like bending, unfulfillment, something the API call makes delay, then you need to use the spinner. You can able to see when you go for a page and you try to access a page, it starts to reload, right? So you can able to see that, right? So that is how it's happening. We technically fix that, right? So what we will do, we simply say if you are if you reached the status code is so you will learn it in backend. For example, if the file is completely fetched, okay, so then I need to allow you to see the thing. If it is not, then I need to reload the page. So that is what it is happening. So that may happens because of your network problem and so much of things. So in that time, what I need to, how I can engage with my user, whether it is loading, be there in the line like that. Okay, so you can use it that cases for valid. Basically I basically use it in the React components for then we work with rendering conditional components. Based upon upon the conditionals, we need to render a component, so we can use these things. Okay, so that's all for today. Tomorrow we will discuss about the hoisting, or not tomorrow, I think 4 days means like in Thursday maybe, the upcoming class whenever we are connecting. So you will have the hoisting process, and you will see the immediate revoking function, and whatever things that still left, we will discuss you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending the class. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can reach out as in the WhatsApp groups, LinkedIn page, and wherever you can reach out, you can reach it out. And If you feel the session is worthy, just take a snip and post it in your LinkedIn and tag us, and we will be often reply to you. We will be active in LinkedIn and we will reply to your comments and all. Okay, that's it. And you can able to contact us in LinkedIn also. Thank you so much. Yes.